Okay, guys, so here we go. Welcome to the live. I know it's been a minute, as you guys know, or some of you guys know. I've been working the evening shifts, and that will be the same for next week as well. So we got Belinda in the house and Bev's in the house. Um, thank you, guys. I had planned on asking Bev, and Bev agreed, and then Belinda asked to join the live today as well. And anyways, I want to say welcome and thank you guys all for being here. So,
Thank you, Sunny.
uh, always, always a pleasure. Always a pleasure for both of you. I feel lucky right now, to be honest with you. It just worked out perfectly, didn't it? And
Yes, it did.
yes, it did. And Bev, want to tell everybody if you want about your new position that you're gonna. Okay, tell everybody what you are.
So at the moment, I work for a local authority as a child protection prosecutor. And I am moving to be a senior Crown prosecutor, so doing like normal criminal prosecutions.
Yeah, and she doesn't have to wear the funny thing on her head. Yeah,
I don't have to wear the wig.
On there. Okay, you guys, before we get started, of course, don't forget to hit that like and the share for Lily and Jack, please. Of course, and I want to say before we get going, yes, yes, the article came out on there. I think Johnny just said it a minute ago. My head feels like it's gonna explode as well. It just, if you can take a pretzel, like 20 times over and twist it, that's how I feel about this case. And it just keeps getting more absurd and crazy. But anyways, okay. So you guys, Belinda's going to be here as long as she can. She has her little granddaughter over there. So she's going to try to stay as long as she can. Okay, guys. So Belinda, well, I guess we'll start with you.
Yeah. Okay. I have sought legal counsel. And I have decided that I am going to apply for temporary legal guardianship of Lily and Jack. My lawyer has advised me that anyone can apply, and I've retained a lawyer to apply for guardianship. Once Malaya is served the documents, she can reply, and then it goes to court. At courts, through my lawyer, I will subpoena Malaya and Daniel to the stand to testify. And if they happen to choose to ignore a summons to appear in court, it can be held against them. Once at court, I'll get to ask the questions I need answered, like where are the children? Was anybody hurting them? And why didn't they just get a hold of me if they just needed a break? Or why wouldn't she have reached out to me? Because I would have gladly have taken them for visits to give her a break. Becoming Jack and Lily's guardian will allow me to advocate for them and will bring answers as to what has happened. No matter if the children are alive or deceased, I will be the guardian who will love and protect them. These actions will help me to understand what has happened and whether the children are alive or not. They will have a guardian who will look out for them either way. I would also add that court rules state the default is to hold this trial open to the public, so hopefully the answers are given. So there is where I stand right now. And I contacted the RCMP the day before yesterday to give them a heads up of what I was doing. And I do find it kind of odd that the following day, they contact the news for releasing certain documentations. And today those documentations are released. I've had a chance to lightly go over them and see what's been posted out. And there's a couple of things that make me wonder just what's what. They stated in the beginning that there was no abduction. They do not believe there's any abduction, but yet the papers that are released today state that someone has spotted the kids walking on the road towards a gold color sedan. If that was the case and if it was taken seriously, wouldn't that have required an Amber Alert?
Absolutely.
Right. All the statements that Daniel and even Malaya herself have put out, and all the stories that they have told, but yet the court papers that it shows to the police, they were a very happy, caring couple who did well for each other and for the children. So, like you, Sonny, I'm in a pretzel mode, and I really don't know where it leads. And I'm hoping by applying for guardianship, it would allow me to have further access as to what is going on in this case.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, did you like that? What's your thoughts on this? Because and again, everyone's in chat saying, Godspeed, Belinda. Belinda, you were the bomb. Of course, everyone on chat's in support of this. Mm-hmm.
I'm absolutely in support of you, Belinda, for doing this. I think it's a wonderful move. I think it will make things much clearer for the other people involved that these children aren't going back to them. And actually, by a stroke of luck, one of the things that I wanted to talk about actually was custody, but I was looking at Meadow more. But these things, they apply equally. So I think it would be an absolute miracle if either Daniel or Malaya were able to get custody returned to them of any of the three children, if I'm honest. And I think from your perspective, it sends out a really clear message. These children have got somewhere to come home to where they will be loved.
Yes,
and they will
will
be cared for. When the latest article, I think the reason that they've made reference to the tip about the children being seen is because it has been widely publicised. But when you actually look at it, it says the lady thinks that they're like 9 and 6 or something. Well, that's not Lily and Jack, is it? So it's no wonder they didn't put out an Amber Alert following that. So I think that's a bit of a red herring.
I don't know, because a part of me now thinks, it's for their size. Maybe she just wasn't good at telling their age and seeing the description. It's a pretty distinct description of hand in hand and going towards a gold sedan with a dark curly woman to be in her 50s to 60s with the back door open waiting. That's pretty descriptive.
Yeah. I've not read it in great detail, so I need to go back over it with a fine tooth comb, but it gives some hope, I suppose, from that point of view, but one still has to ask the question, who is it and why would they be
right
being taken to that vehicle, and who was this lady with dark curly hair?
I was also shocked to read that Malaya was the one apparently who called the RCMP twice the wee hours of Friday, claiming that she believed my son had taken them.
Yes, I did notice that. But you know what I also noticed? First of all, they're very clear about Cody and his polygraph. He was truthful. For Malaya's, that's not what it says. It says she was truthful to certain questions.
Oh, I actually missed that part.
No, yeah, thank you. Right, because go ahead.
What does that say without saying it?
Mhm.
Let's just double check what it says about, because I kind of scanned over the first part of that. So I've lost it.
I haven't had a chance to read both of them.
Well,
That
I was gonna say,
So
I mean, I
go
can
on.
easily.
Sorry.
I can.
Sorry.
No. I was gonna say I can easily pull up the Globe and Mail article, which sounds a little bit different than the other one, somewhat. But I can pull it up and we can just I can just read it and then we can stop if you guys have time. Want to do
Yeah.
that? Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay.
yes.
So while
Okay.
you're pulling that up, in the other one, it says Daniel's indicated he was truthful. Brooks Murray, they found that she was truthful when answering specific questions.
Now,
So they kind of leave that open to interpretation then.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I mean, there are a couple of issues with polygraphs, obviously. I mean, they're not infallible to start off with, but also if you've got somebody who is using substances or has particular personality traits, they can very easily fool a polygraph. And so I wouldn't kind of put a huge amount of sway into the results in terms of Daniel, I'm afraid. I just wouldn't stand by it.
right.
Because we know that he's been deceptive. We don't know exactly what he's said to them, but we know that he can't tell the same story twice in a row. So for me, that would suggest that, you know, he's not going to be telling the truth all of the way through. Somebody in that house knows what's happened to these children.
That's what I believe.
Now, just quickly, Bev, because Malaya made the comment that Daniel is not what they told RCMP in their statement is different than what he's saying online. Now, when she said that, it's because basically they had, regardless, a story of kind of how things went, and then online Daniel goes on the attack basically and he can actually sit there and act like he's not, but he went on the attack basically of Malaya, and that Cindy or someone related to the Malaya Brooks Murray side has taken these children, like that. So that to me is what she was referring to because she did say that. She's like, and all of a sudden, what he's saying basically is all about me, which means, right.
Yeah, I mean, I think the reality is they probably stuck roughly to the script that they'd created originally. But it's hard to know whether or not everything that he's said about that polygraph is accurate. I find it really hard to believe that they would only focus in on questions about the death of Jack and Lily. And if that's the case, really easy to take their questions and in your head qualify it. So he says things like, I 100% didn't do it. Well, if you think 100% in your head I didn't do it, therefore I'm not guilty of it, then it's easier to come across as truthful when you have already reconciled that in your own mind. But 100% not guilty of it doesn't mean that you're not guilty at all.
God, I wish it was as simple as in the movies. You could just give them a truth serum and make them speak truth.
Right.
Wouldn't it be wonderful?
Yeah.
Wouldn't it? You know, because let's just well, you know what? Let's pull up the article, okay? Let's go through the article, and then if either of you say stop, then I'll stop, and then we'll talk about that part that you want to refer to, okay?
Okay.
Okay, so we'll start off with, let's see here. Okay, go back up, because this one is a little bit different the way it's worded. This is the Globe and Mail, you guys. And again, thank you to Lindsay Jones. She let me know that the article was coming out and that the other outlets were as well. Police investigating the disappearance of Jack and Lily Sullivan collected the kids' toothbrushes from their home, found a sock and a scrap of purple fabric in the woods. According to the court documents, that also detail the results of their mother and stepfather's polygraph tests. 7 court documents filed by police in their continuing major crime investigation and obtained by the Globe and Mail on Thursday divulged that the items seized during the search for the young kids from Lansdowne, Nova Scotia. I was going to say North. I don't know what I was going to say. A lack of evidence pointing to the potential criminality at the time the documents were filed in mid-May, and a play-by-play account of the children's last hours before their mother reported them missing. This highly unusual disappearance of Lily, 6, and Jack, 4, has captured the nation's attention since the children were reported missing nearly 4 months ago. In the days and the weeks following their mother and stepfather's report to the police that the children slipped out of the home while they were sleeping, armies of search and rescue teams, police dogs, drones, helicopters scoured the land and waterways to no avail. The RCMP Northeast Major Crimes Unit continues to lead a very active, intensive investigation with assistance from agencies across Canada, said RCMP spokesperson Cindy Bears in an email in response to the questions on Friday. She said police have not ruled out any scenario or confirmed that the circumstances of the children's disappearance, which continues to be investigated under the Missing Persons Act. She reiterated, oh my goodness, I feel like my tongue's tripping over me today. She reiterated that there's no evidence that the children were abducted, but every possibility is being considered. Investigators have and continue to receive forensic results while they're assessing, wrote Ms. Bayers. She declined to disclose specific results due to the continuing investigation. Okay, and that's when it right here. Grandmother of Jack and Lily Sullivan calls for public inquiry into the children's disappearance. That was that one that came out a couple weeks ago. The documents sealed by the provincial court in Pictou at the request of the RCMP in mid-May were released to the Globe and Mail, or the Globe and other media outlets, with some redactions. The reason for which include personal information, privileged information, and delayed disclosure. They show that the Mounties made 6 applications under the Missing Persons Act and to access copies of the records that contain information of Jack and Lily. One was the cell phone records of both Malaya Brooks Murray, the children's mother, and Daniel Martell, their stepfather. A second was for the school bus video surveillance around the children's home. Other applications were to request copies of records under the control of companies, the names which were redacted. The document saying is the information is requested because the last time Jack and Lily's location was independently verified was on May 1st at 2:25 p.m. at the local Dollarama video surveillance. This could assist the investigation by helping police to identify further investigational avenues and possible lead to the location of the children, wrote RCMP Corporal Charlene Curl in a partially unsealed affidavit. She also laid out information gathered by more than 20 police officers up until mid-May. Both Malaya and Daniel's colleagues.
1 minute, Sonny. So if we just go back up a little bit. So we now know the exact time that they were at the Dollarama. So that's a good bit of information we can add to the timeline. It was 2:25.
Right.
And I know that they say they're still dealing with it under a Missing Persons Act investigation. But it's highly unusual that the major crime team would be involved in that type of investigation.
They told us that they're automatically involved in Nova Scotia during any missing persons. If there's no answers in that first day, the major crimes automatically steps in. That's what they have stated.
But do they usually step in and stay in? I suppose that would be the question for me.
That's actually a good question. Yes.
That is a good question.
Just because you automatically step in at that stage at the end of day one doesn't mean that you stay there. And they've remained active as part of the investigation for nearly 4 months, which is a long time to be using those resources that are about major crimes.
Yes, that is true.
If there's no information to suggest that it is a crime.
Kent said, no, not in Canada, Bev. They do simultaneous investigations, and that is the way. If they have to take over the case, they don't have to play catch up.
That to some extent makes sense, but it's all got to be about the use of resources, hasn't it? And you've got to be able to justify the use of those resources. So I'd be interested to see what the kind of the rationale is from the police about why major crimes have stayed involved for that length of time.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, Kent, stop cheating on Sonny and trying to flirt with me, calling me babe.
I know. He tried to cover it up with this, but whatever. Too late.
It's too late. You start an online relationship with one of the and then you're trying to flirt with the other one. So I do think it's still a question for me, that in terms of how involved are they? Because say for example, you've got a major crimes team unit and you allocate one person to keep a track on what's happening in the missing persons unit. That's a good use of resources if there's nothing to suggest that there's anything untoward going on. But if you've got a whole team of people in the major crimes unit, that would suggest something completely different. So that might be a question to ask the police if they're willing to answer. How many of the major crimes team unit are still involved?
That really is a very good question. I know governments like to waste money here and there, but that would be a lot of money to throw away for no reason.
Right.
It would. And police resources are so stretched, they can't just throw good money after bad. They've got to make decisions about where to put the resources. And it's a day-to-day decision that they make. It's not a month-to-month decision. They've got to look at it every day. Is it still worth us having 4 people from major crimes involved in this? It's going nowhere. It's obvious that they just wandered off and they, whatever they might think at that moment. So it might give us a bit more of an idea if some useful reporter, not mentioning any names, Lindsay, wants to ask that question on the next occasion. So, but it does give us a good piece of timeline information, the 225, so that's good.
Okay. Do you want me to continue reading?
Yeah.
Okay. So it says, let's see. She also laid out information. Okay, now both Malaya and Daniel polygraph examinations results on May 12th showed that they were truthful when answering 4 questions that were redacted as privileged. Okay, so Daniel said, did you kill Lily and Jack? And there was another one that he said as well, actually. Did you have any? There was two questions. The first one I always remember. The second one I always forget. But they were all to do with.
Did you have anything to do with the murder of Lily and Jack? Is the way that he phrased it, I think. Which made me go, the what?
Yeah.
They're calling it a murder? Pardon?
Yeah.
And you've got to remember, they don't have to release things that are up to date when they release stuff to the press, and they don't have to release things that give a clear indication of what they're actually thinking.
True.
Are they allowed to just outright say make up a story or lie out to the public through the press?
Yeah.
Yep.
They can lie to the people in the interrogation room, and they can lie to the public.
Okay.
It's if they are specific sealed court documents, I think that would be a risky position. So I think if there are sealed court documents that have been released, then we can probably rely on that. But they've given a thing that shows that they were asked 4 questions that were redacted and that they were truthful. Well, what were those questions? Because it doesn't say that they were the only 4 questions they asked.
I was just going to ask you that, Bev, because it says they were truthful when, like somebody just said in the chat, when answering 4 questions. Well, then
what about all the others?
You know that they were asked more than 4 questions, right?
Yeah. So what were these 4 questions? Was it these 4 questions that they were truthful when they answered it? And what other questions were they asked? And were they truthful when they answered those?
Well, according to Daniel, it was a good job, right? Good job.
Well, you know.
I know.
I mean, he is a truthologist, isn't he?
He is. Now it says Malaya willingly agreed to undergo a polygraph examination in relation to the investigation in an effort to eliminate her as a suspect in causing her children's disappearance and possible murder. Well, what within those 4
there
questions?
It says again.
Go ahead.
Disappearance and possible murder.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really strong term. Where is that phrase coming from? Is it Daniel and Malaya that are saying it, or is it what they were actually asked about? Because being involved in somebody's death and causing and being responsible for a murder are 2 totally different things.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so it says the documents referring to the statements, because there's a piece down here we'll get to. Whoops, 1 sec. Always thinking. Thanks, Jane. Always thinking of Lily and Jack. And so sorry, Belinda. Thanks so much. You guys know that she appreciates all the love and support. I'm sure she can say that herself, though, since she's here.
Oh, yeah, definitely. And I'm probably going to need a whole lot more in the coming days.
Yeah, absolutely. I know this is a lot, definitely on you, Belinda. But you know what? I also know that you're a warrior.
You certainly are.
Yeah, go ahead, Bev.
I was going to say, before Sonny carries on with reading this, let me just say, Belinda, if you need any kind of support or help, or you need help understanding anything that the solicitors give you, Sonny's got my number and she can give it you, and I'm available and I'm happy to go through stuff with you.
Okay, thank you very much. That my lawyer is Deneen Thomas, and she's actually doing it pro bono for me.
Oh, that's amazing.
Good, because I was going to ask you about that, actually. So thank you for letting us know, because so that is awesome.
Yes, it is.
That's so awesome. And like I said, so you got Bev over from the UK corner for you if you need her. And then you got Deanne, what was it? Deanne Thompson?
I think it's Deneen.
Deneen. Okay, Deneen Thompson. We'll get that right. Oh, Daleen Thomas.
Daleen, thank you. Thank you. Yes.
Oh, wait a second.
Yes. Yes, you will recognize her name.
I was gonna say I recognize that name.
Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right, it's me.
Yes. Thank goodness she reached out to me.
I was gonna say as soon as like when you were saying it, I was thinking like Dane when you said Deneen. When you said then when somebody says Daleen Thomas, and yeah, Daleen. Can't thank you enough, of course, for offering that love and support for Belinda. That's so sweet of you. Thank
Yes,
you guys.
it is.
Yeah, that's so nice. Thank you. Aw, aw, that's great. That's great. Thank you so much. That's wonderful. Um, okay, so and then it so let's see here. So it says an investigator's comment says at this point in the investigation, Jack and Lily's disappearance is not believed to be criminal in nature, but yet above it said impossible murder. Okay. I do not have reasonable grounds to believe a criminal offense has occurred because Jack and Lily are still missing. Polygraph, well, I mean, that says a lot right there. Okay, polygraph examinations were conducted with the intention of ruling out that possibility. However, Corporal Curl notes in May 23rd affidavit that the case may progress to being criminal should the elements of a criminal offense be identified. So basically, they have no clue what's going on. All right. The 7-court document shows that police seized the children's toothbrushes from their home and a blanket from a trash bag at the end of the driveway that matched the piece of Lily's blanket by police 1 kilometer from the home in a tree. I mean, that right there, okay, in a tree. Police have said Lily's blanket has been sent for forensic testing. Clumps of boot prints in 2 different sizes, included child's, were found on the pipeline in the area. And now, how come it says clumps of boot prints? Belinda, can you, because let's just clarify that quickly. Because it says clumps of boot prints in 2 different sizes, including a child's, were found on the pipeline in the area in the first few days of the search, the document said. Now, you said, I think that Malaya had said it was like a bear print, a bare footprint.
When I was there on Saturday, it was Saturday afternoon when we had come in, I think from the first search that my sister and I had, and we come back to the trailer. Malaya stated a boot print was found. I said, oh, she goes, yes, it was a bare footprint. She said, and I think it was Jack's because he had a habit of taking off his boots. I said, well, let me know the moment you hear. And she stated she would. But she believed it was a bare footprint.
Okay.
Now, it does say that one of them was a child size. So 2 different sizes, only one of which was a child size.
Well, it says were found on the pipeline.
Yeah, so clumps of boot prints in 2 different sizes, including a child's.
So, like,
so we're talking about only one size that fitted a child.
Okay, but we don't know when Janie met up with her friend who had a child on the bike with them.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's to make it sound like there's an adult and a child footprint. Right, including a child. So 2 different sizes of boot prints. So I'm going to think it's boot prints, not footprint, to be honest with you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I mean, that may have been a different place that the bare footprint was. We don't know, do we? That's the difficulty.
No, this I think this would be the one myself, Bev, that there's only ever been one talk about the pipeline, where it says that a child's
footprint.
Yeah. So I would say I'm pretty positive that they're referring to the exact thing, but there was also obviously an adult one, and there was a person that brought her child. I think it was Cheryl's sister that brought her child or something like that to the search. So,
oh, is that who it was? I didn't know who it was. Well,
yeah, I think it was Cheryl's sister.
I thought Jamie said it was a friend of hers. She stopped and talked to a friend of hers, I thought is what she said. But yeah.
On there. Okay. Well, I was gonna say I would not sit there and say I'm 1,000% correct.
Yeah, neither am I.
Could
Okay.
be either or both.
A.
It could be either Janie's friend,
Right.
Cheryl's sister, or both could have occurred, and you're both remembering it right.
Yeah. Right. Right. Exactly. Other seizures included indent impressions castings, typically used to gather casts of boot prints or tire tracks, scat, while police say could be a human or animal, and a sock and piece of purple fabric. Okay. The court documents show that Malaya provided multiple statements to police, including a detailed description of May 1st, the day before the children were reported missing, including she kept Jack and Lily home from school because they had coughs. Huh. Everyone woke up.
And they've said both.
A.
That's the first time she's mentioned Jack that we were aware of as having a cough.
Yeah, because even Daniel said it was just Lily. That's what I was, because even like said, Daniel has only ever said Lily.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Yeah. What about the black eye? What about the black eye on Wednesday? Nothing in there. Okay. Everyone woke around 9 a.m. and the kids. So everyone woke around 9 a.m. and the kids played and watched television while she got them breakfast and tidied the house.
That is.
Oh, that's May 1st. That's
yeah, right. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So we're talking about the day before.
Not there for a second. Okay, so on May 1st, everyone woke. Okay, watched television, got them breakfast, and tidied the house. Yeah, I don't believe that the tidied the house actually should be in that sentence. To be honest, around noon, she, Daniel, their toddler Meadow, and Jack and Lily drove to New Glasgow and Malaya's 2017 white Nissan Pathfinder. They stopped for gas. Okay, that must have been one of the 5 trips. Okay, and went to Tim Hortons. Okay, so that's 5 trips then. So Dollarama. So we got Tim Hortons, gas, Dollarama, Acropole, and the medical clinic. And went to a Starbucks. Well, how come she said that the main reason they went in, right, was for
blood work.
Was for blood work.
And also, how can you say possibly went to Tim Hortons? How can you?
Right.
They be saying possibly went somewhere when they will have asked her on the day.
Right, you're right about that.
Even I can remember what I did yesterday.
You're right. Malaya said they visited Dollarama and purchased items using Daniel's bank card before going to the pharmacy or a pharmacy. Daniel also said they stopped at Acro Pub and Grill to pick up a poutine. That night, Malaya told police she fed Jack and Lily supper, after which the kids watched television and went outside to play.
No, she possibly went outside to play.
Yeah, possibly went outside. Right. She brushed their teeth and got them ready for bed before 9. Huh. She said 7 or 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. 2 hours later than usual, because wasn't Daniel supposedly outside with his mom? At 2? I don't know. Okay, so they wore the same clothes to bed that they wore during the day. Lily in a pink sweater, pink pajamas, and white shapes, a Barbie top and pink socks. Jack in a black sweatpant and t-shirt and a diaper. Malaya told the police one sec. Thanks, Steffers. Sub up and help the channel grow. Thanks, Steffers. Rickroll. Daniel said he was getting pizza. Yeah, that was at Acropole. Yeah, he said he was getting pizza, didn't he? He didn't say anything about a poutine.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's see here. Not only that, too, but it says, so Daniel said that he had the Barbie top. And if I'm not mistaken, I think Wade said that there was a Barbie top and a jacket on top of the car.
Yeah, that's what I heard, too.
Yeah. And so then Daniel also said, you guys, if you remember this, he said it in the group chat, um, that he that the clothes that we think that they were wearing aren't, but it's part of the investigation. Well, guess Daniel, do you want to, admit to that Lily in a pink sweater now? Because that's what was our. Well, maybe the white shapes is the part he was trying to hide or something. I don't know. Um, anyways, it's just again, I can't help but think of the different things he's been saying as well. Malaya told police she's been too tired to unpack the clean laundry. She'd done at her grandma's the previous night. No, Malaya, stop. Really? No. The children were tucked into bed around 10 p.m. Wait, what? So they went to bed at 9 and then they were tucked into bed at 10 p.m.?
Yeah.
So she brushed her teeth and got them ready for bed at 9 p.m. But here it says the children were tucked into bed around 10 p.m. Jack with his blanket and dinosaur, Lily with her cream corduroy backpack with strawberries on it. Yeah. So Jack was with his blanket and dinosaur.
And Lily has her backpack.
Right. What?
What child goes to bed with a backpack?
Cream corduroy backpack with strawberries on it. What? She shut the children's bedroom door, and then she and Meadow went to bed. Daniel stayed up. He's talking about the time that he was doing the meth. She told police she was not woken up through. Wait, what? Wait, what?
He doesn't know when he went to bed.
Well, right there. That's a lie right there. She was not woken up throughout the night and did not know when Daniel came to bed.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but
And
remember,
she'd woken up at 12, was it?
Pardon?
Was it? Did she say she'd been woken up at about 12?
Yeah.
Well, that's what Lana said, or I told Belinda, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Daniel doing math. Yeah. Okay. But you know what? Again, this is like a very twisted case, and it just keeps getting more absurd every time something comes out or is said. It's just ridiculous. Like, this is ridiculous. At least Emmanuel's parents were stupid enough to decline polygraphs. So, I mean, darn right that's going to come back. There's going to be an arrest shortly in that case.
They've arrested him.
Did they arrest him?
Yeah, they arrested them this morning, and they've been charged with murder.
Both of them?
Yep, both of them. And there was,
wow.
I understand it, there was a tent up in the backyard, which would lead you to believe that they found something, because they were digging out there.
Yeah.
And they were focusing on a shed and a little building next to the house. And then they were also in the backyard, and then somebody came around, and from where everyone was sat, they couldn't see the backyard. But when somebody arrived later on, they said they've just driven past and there is now a tent in the backyard. So I think they've found something, but they've not confirmed that they found the baby, but they have been charged with murder.
Well, there you go. See? Justice served right away.
Somebody's getting it, yeah.
Within a week.
I knew that one would come to a close very quickly, especially when you deny taking a polygraph test. Again, you watch them, and it's just ridiculous how stupid they look to us when they're sitting there trying to act like, yeah, I just got knocked out, and hola. Yeah. Well, hola, see your ass in jail there. Prison soon. But anyways, that's so sad. So, and then we heard, just to quickly go off trail for a sec, and then there was the article that came out by News Nation, and that was about the sister's cousin or something like that has the daughter called Promise now that is blind, right? I mean, she's everything. Yeah, and the other child. So it's just horrific, these stories, okay? And no different than Jack and Lily. Something happened to Jack and Lily.
It certainly did.
Yep. So Daniel stayed up. She told the police she was not woken up through the night. All right. So you weren't woken up through the night. Okay. did not know when Daniel came to bed. On May 2nd, around 6:15, Malaya marked the children as absent from school due to illness. According to the documents, Lily was last seen by her mother and stepfather when she came into the bedroom that morning. Jack had not been seen since that night before, though both parents told police they heard him playing. Okay, right. Now, according to Lily was seen last by her. Okay, so this one says Lily was last seen by her mother and stepfather when she came into the bedroom that
Right.
So
morning.
they both saw her, according to this. They both saw her.
Yeah.
Well,
As opposed to just
well,
Daniel.
Malaya's never said seen, right, herself. She's
Well,
never seen or
apparently she said it to the police.
well, that's just it because Daniel said that, but yet, and it
And
was in one article. Go
she
ahead.
said that to Lana too. She
Yeah,
told Lana that she seen Lily in the morning.
right, right. As her, but Malaya also said that Daniel was sleeping from when she called the kids in till like 9:30, 9:40. She also said that as well, right?
Mhm.
She like, how could he be sleeping that time? Because she literally said that in her messages to me. Okay, so well, why did you skip over that whole part then? That Lily came in the room. What do you mean Daniel was sleeping from 6:15 to 9:40? Right? Obviously, there's
Yeah.
yep. Okay, so Malaya said she heard the kids laughing in the next bedroom. It woke up Meadow, who was sleeping in the crib in Malaya's bedroom. Malaya brought her into bed and turned on the TV before fading in and out of sleep. This isn't making sense even reading it. Sometime between, oh, here we go now. Sometime between 8 a.m. and 9:40, the children left the house, Malaya told police, according to the documents. Oh. So now it's now that's where the 8 o'clock comes in and 9:40. So sometime between 8 a.m. and 9:40, the children left the house. So Daniel's 20 minutes, few minutes, blah, 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 blah. Okay. Anyways, it's just cringe. In her fifth statement to police provided May 9th, Malaya said Daniel opened the front door to go looking for the kids. He put a wrench on top of the door that night before and it didn't fall down. So Daniel said they must have gone out the back sliding door, said the document.
Wow.
Why would you put a wrench on top of the door?
Right. Isn't that strange?
Huh. So that's the front door at the front of the house.
Mm-hmm.
So in the fifth statement, Daniel opened the front door to go looking for the kids. What happened to you both went out? So Daniel must have gone. So she said, Daniel said they must have gone out the back sliding door, said the documents. Daniel confirmed this, saying he does that most nights because, oh, there we go, because a bear used to hang around outside. Huh. Daniel told police he and Malaya got up and looked for the kids. Okay, there we go. When he couldn't see them in the yard, he got in the car and drove around. Then he ran around the woods searching for hours. See, well, why aren't we hearing about the 30 seconds you went up to look at the fort?
Mm-hmm.
Why aren't we
But
hearing
not
about that?
just that. He got out and he searched in a car. And then we heard Janie's statement stating that she walked up through the woods and she met Daniel on the back road.
Yeah.
And picked him up on the bike.
And asked if she wanted to go with him, and she refused. I want to know, what was Daniel in on the back road? Was he in a car? Was he on a bike?
Well,
Right.
she picked him up on the ATV, didn't she?
That was later on.
Right.
That was a separate incident later on. This was early in the morning when they were searching, and she asked Malaya, and Malaya said they were gone 20 minutes. And then she said she ran up into the woods, she checked out their fort, and then she ran to the back road. And there she met Daniel, and he asked if she wanted to go with him.
Yeah.
But if he was in a vehicle, what vehicle was he in? Was he in Malaya's car on that back road? Or was he on a trike on Malaya's back road? I really need that one to be answered.
And also how long he was out, because here it says that he went out and was out for hours, but we know that he came back.
And the police were already
And
there when he came back.
But it's the way that he describes it. Well, sometimes he describes it as though he was there before they arrived, and sometimes he describes it as he was there after they arrived. But he came back. Also, there's nothing in here about him, his mum coming out and him telling his mum that they're missing.
They don't mention Janie's statement at all about finding Malaya standing in the driveway.
But nor do they mention that in Daniel's statement or Malaya's statement, they reference Janie coming out.
Well,
wow.
Hold on. Well, let's just see here, because it says, hold on. Daniel told, let's see, Daniel confirmed. Okay, so he does that most light. Daniel told Malaya he got up to look for the kids when he couldn't see them. Okay, he told police that while searching, he thought he heard a scream that sounded like Jack and Lily. But when he stopped to listen, a helicopter overhead drowned out all other sounds. Yeah, okay. His mother, Janie McKenzie, who lives in a camper on the property, provided 2 statements to the police. She dozed off around 8:50 a.m. and awoke to the sound of her dog barking. She told police she heard Jack and Lily playing on the swings and laughing in the backyard before she dozed off again. She awoke to Daniel yelling for the children, got her coat and boots on, and walked around looking for them. Well, again, I mean, I'm sorry. So you're not even going to go to your mom's trailer whatsoever to see if she has them inside there at all?
Or do you even see if she's seen them or anything?
Right. Yeah. Anything. But that's, nope.
Literally, your first thing would be, Mum, have you heard the kids?
Absolutely.
Right.
Have you seen the kids? Are they with you? I mean, it may be that they didn't very often go in her camper because we know she keeps the dog away from them. But you'd still say, have you seen them? Have you heard them? Especially bearing in mind Malaya's reference to the fact that she relies on Janie ringing her to say they were outside.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so hold on a second. Chelsea, can you send me the Canadian Press one? Can you send me the Canadian Press article? The Globe and Mail one is being updated, and
so someone said, Lindsay Shannon has said, this is just the first article. The other 2 have got more BS, in my opinion, to create more confusion, like divide and conquer tactics.
Well, this is why I question why are the police allowing this stuff to come out? And it's almost like they're defending Daniel and Malaya, giving them clear basic alibis that they're almost clear. They do mention that Janie, the polygraph just wasn't working with Janie's medical conditions.
Yeah.
So she's the only one that's kind of in question on what's what, because there's no real reading on her. It's just created a whole lot of more questions without answering any.
It has, and I do question whether or not it is a tactic to come out and say we still don't have a clue what's going on. Give a bit of information that demonstrates that apparently they've not got a clue what's going on when actually they're onto something in the background. And obviously we're not going to know what that is, because that's the whole point of that type of tactic, and it is something that is used on a regular basis. I mean, even so, for example, a defence solicitor in the UK goes to the police station to represent a client, you're entitled to advanced disclosure of the material or evidence that they're going to question your client about. But they don't have to give you everything. They only have to give you what they think is reasonable to allow your client to answer the questions.
Okay.
So they can spring things on you even when you're the lawyer. So the public are neither in nor there for them.
This
So
Go ahead.
it seems that these articles are just basically to create more talks and no actual information.
Yeah. I mean, what it does demonstrate, though, is that the things that they've told the police, this is the first insight we've got into what the police say they were told,
Right.
doesn't match what we've been told.
Right. And as
All
Melinda
the
states, it
things
doesn't matter what they state to us because they're allowed to make up stories on social media. They don't have to.
That is true to a certain degree. But
Right.
what I will say is when you're finally in front of a court and somebody can stand there and say, you're saying this now, and that's what you told the police, but at this time in this article or in this news channel, you said this. Well, are you telling the truth now? Yes, of course I am, because this is a courtroom. You know, I would never lie to the court. But you
Right.
lied then. Yes, of course. Yeah. Well, it's different than what I'm saying now. So, yeah, I lied, because that's just the public. But you lied. You were dishonest. Yes. So why would we allow any courtroom to believe you? How can you expect anybody to believe a word that comes out of your mouth if you are fundamentally dishonest and you've just accepted that you're dishonest? Because dishonesty in itself is kind of the biggest element of most criminal offences in one way or another. So they're not going to do themselves any favours by lying to the public.
Well, right.
Suspects or persons of interest. If it is likely to end up in a hearing.
Especially if they're innocent.
Okay, I'm going to have to sign off now.
Okay. 1 second. Okay. Oops. There we go. Okay. Your little granddaughter awoke, did she?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Belinda, for your time.
I want to thank you guys. I really appreciate this. And yeah, it's moving forward now.
Yeah. And thank you again, Daleen Thomas, for pro bonoing this case for Belinda.
She's got her work cut out for her.
On there. Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Without a doubt.
Okay. Thanks, Belinda.
Thank you.
Bye, Belinda. Go and give your granddaughter a hug extra tight.
No, thank you guys so much.
Oh, no. Thank you. Lily and Jack. Jack and Lily.
All the way.
Yeah. All right.
All the way.
Well, have a good night with your granddaughter.
Hope to.
Yeah. Thanks, Belinda. Okay. Do you need me to boot you from here?
I do believe so.
Okay. Don't take it personally. Okay. Bye. On there. Okay, that was good. Lindsay had told me that they were updating the article. But so I don't need the Canadian Press one now, but there is different articles out there. The one somebody sent me as well. Thank you guys for sending me articles as well, because there was people in the email that sent me the MSN one and stuff like that. So thank you guys. Okay, so
can I just reply to a comment, Sonny?
Yeah,
I'm not the lady who walks with a dog in a field. That's Michelle After Dark. I have to confess, I do actually listen to. And and it's the UK accent. We're both from the northwest of England,
Yeah, but
which is
Michelle
why.
has a distinct voice. And
So I'm Crime Courtroom Confidential.
yeah. That's funny, actually.
I know that my voice can sometimes be a little bit raspy, but I don't think it's quite as raspy.
Well, I would say that hers has about 10 octaves higher than yours.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So you maybe on the low tone. Okay. So let's go, I guess, move along with this little sucker here. 1 second here. Okay. I need a sip of my OJ there. Okay. So let's see here. Okay, the documents also show that the RCMP sought camera footage from at the Cobequid Pass from a toll plaza on the Trans-Canada Highway in Nova Scotia between May 1st at 2:25 and May 3rd at 3 a.m. Police have received hundreds of tips from the public, including a report highlighted in documents from a witness who told RCMP that she saw 2 children walking along a road not far from the home of Jack and Lily on the morning of their disappearance. Natasha Haywood, who filed her report on May 31st, described seeing a young girl holding a young boy's hand, and they were walking toward a Caucasian woman around 50 to 60 years old with loose curl haircut, waiting with the rear door open of an older model tan or golden sedan. So I want to ask you here. Okay. Well, let me just read this last part. She described the boy as having dirty blonde hair and wearing shorts, while the girl was darkish hair and pigtails, wearing a tank top with blue strings. Police are working to determine if the children were indeed Jack and Lily, according to the document. So why wouldn't they issue an Amber Alert then if they got a tan gold sedan? And
I think there's a couple of things. First of all, the clothing descriptions don't match at all. And I think further down the article, or certainly in the other article, it describes them as being roughly around 9 and 6, was it? And we know that Jack was small for his age. So
but this is May 31st, though, right? So the clothes wouldn't obviously be the same clothes.
Oh, yes. No, but she says she reports it on May 31st, doesn't she? But she filed her report on May 31st, but she saw 2 young children on the morning of their disappearance. Saw 2 children walking along the road not far from the home of Jack and Lily on the morning of their disappearance. And she filed a report on May 31st.
Oh.
Why did she wait until May 31st? Number
Natasha.
1.
Yeah, Natasha.
Number 2, the clothes don't match. And number 3, the ages absolutely don't match, because everyone described Jack as being small for his age, and he was only 4. You can't mistake a small 4-year-old. So let's say he's similar to a 3-year-old in size for a 6-year-old. Even at a distance, I don't think you would.
Well, no, because they said that an Amber Alert could be issued at any time.
Yeah.
No more lies. I remember actually reading that.
Yeah. They can issue an Amber Alert at any time, and the idea is that if they've got details of a particular vehicle, that people can look out for that vehicle.
I have a hard time believing that someone that's 9 and 10 can be mistaken for a 6-year-old myself. You'd have to be pretty thick in the head to not know what a 6-year-old size is versus a 9 and 10-year-old. So obviously,
so 6 and 4 to 9 and 6, I think, is a massive jump. I know that people do make mistakes. I see that, no more lies, but not to that extent, and not when the younger one is already small.
We just have to take the fact that she didn't file a report till May 31st. I mean, that just tells you right there. You know,
Yeah.
that she's sick in the head or something. Something's wrong with her. So if you saw those children in the morning.
It's a fake report. What?
Yeah.
When did the whole narrative start to come out about the children being removed? And is that report being made by somebody to back up that narrative?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I'm going to ask you, why did we want to know this, really? Because they're looking into it from May 31st.
Yeah, I mean,
every
I
tip
suspect that they've put that in there because there's been reference in the various
yeah, but it just leads to more shit.
Yeah. But why didn't they say, we got that report, we established that, you know, it's unlikely to be relevant, hence we didn't issue an Amber Alert? I do think that this is a tactic, personally.
Yeah, just again, for anyone coming in, go ahead, just quickly say your credentials again, if you could.
Right. Okay. So I am Bev State. I am a solicitor in the UK, and currently I am a child protection prosecutor. I'm actually moving in September into a senior Crown prosecutor role, so that will be prosecuting general criminal offences. Not your average lawyer. I do have tattoos on my arm. You will see unusual
and bite marks,
things behind me, and you will occasionally see me with dog bite marks and things. But I am a bona fide lawyer, and I've been practicing for 20-something years, about 26 years, I think, something like that. So a long time, and I've had a background as a criminal defence lawyer, a prosecutor, and a child protection lawyer. So this case really kind of fits into all of those categories in one way or another. Thank you, Christine. I appreciate the congratulations. And anybody else who said congratulations. I'm only catching, like, every now and again one bit of the chat, so I apologise for anybody I'm not replying to.
And just quickly too, for anyone coming in, and for Belinda, like she said, she's filing for temporary custody, I believe. Yeah. How you can word it.
She's filing for temporary custody of Jack and Lily, so that she is their legal guardian. So regardless of whether they are alive or deceased, she will be the person who can make decisions about them. And
she's sending us.
The way that I said it was, well, at least the children then know that they've got a home where they're going to be loved and cared for if they do have to come home to somewhere, whether that's in life or death.
And so, and just to ask you, Bev, so she said that she's going to be sending, what was it, a summons or subpoena or summons to Malaya and Daniel?
Yeah, so what will happen, what usually happens in these cases is an application will be put into the court. That is then served on the other parties. So that would be, in this case, Daniel and Malaya. And I should think that it will include CPS, given that they've got custody of, oh no, they've only got custody of Meadow, though, haven't they? It depends on what the status of Jack and Lily is at the moment, whether they are actually under the guardianship of Jack and Lily, because that can happen even when they're not around. But certainly Malaya and Daniel will get a copy of that. They then get an opportunity to respond, and then a hearing will be set to talk about it. Usually it isn't just one hearing, so it will be a range of hearings that go through. One will be to look at case management and decide what evidence, if anything, needs to be obtained and by who.
Now, what if they don't show?
If they don't show up to the hearing, well, they can either show up of their own accord, they could not show up but send us a lawyer. If they do that, then obviously the lawyer is going to represent their side of things and the case. But the reality is they will need to attend at some point for a final hearing so that questions can be asked of them. And if they don't turn up for that, then, of course, if you're not answering the questions, then Belinda's viewpoint will be considered the accurate viewpoint, because they've not been there to dispel those accusations. When you're looking at custody, you're looking at not just, well, the kids have gone missing and there's potential neglect there because they were allowed to leave the property. We've got all of these other things that are going on in the background about abuse, black eyes, we've got substance use, we've got potential domestic violence. All of these things are all things that the court will look at, and it's looking at in the round.
How would Daniel apply if he's not even like anything?
So he would be given notice of the hearing. He wouldn't necessarily automatically be a party, but my perspective is that I think he will want to be. So he'll apply to the court to be a party because he thinks that he is the best thing since sliced bread, and that he can give the children everything they need, and that Malaya wasn't looking after them, it was him. So that's the kind of the impression that I get, is that kind of person. You often see there are particular types of step parents and common law step parents that want to be involved. Also, so I'm not sure what it's like in Canada, but in the UK, fathers are only entitled to be a part of the proceedings as of right if they've got something called parental responsibility. So that is if you're named on the birth certificate, or you're married to the mother at the time the child is born, or you've applied to the court and been given it. But there are certain types of father who will automatically want to be involved, and they will ask the court for permission to be a party. And there are also some types of fathers who just go, I don't care, do what you like, and don't want to be involved at all. But Daniel, he strikes me as the wants to be involved kind.
Well, let's see. I mean, he's portraying like he is. So now, another thing I wanted to ask you, if you don't mind, about, I wanted to ask you about Cody. So Malaya is the one that basically said that she believes her Cody has him, and Cody hasn't even seen the kids in 3 years. So,
and the police are clear, to be fair, in the documents that they accept that he's not seen them for 3 years and that he was completely truthful on his polygraph. It doesn't say he was truthful when answering a certain 4 questions. It says he was truthful. So I think we can safely say that it's not him.
I know, because it makes you just wonder if all this was just like a big diver, like what, they're up in New Brunswick. Cody took them up to New Brunswick because then they literally called in a tip. Yeah. To sit there and say that, Cody's taking them up to New Brunswick or something, and it's just like, I mean, you do have to question, like, I don't know, with like
diversion tactics and
diversion. Yeah.
It's really, this case it's got to be one of the most confusing cases I've seen.
I was going to say that it's hitting levels that honestly hurt my brain even worse than the ones that I thought hurt my brain a lot.
It's the sublime and the ridiculous, isn't it?
Yeah.
The stuff that's coming out. So
Well, the thing is, like, I mean, Delphi was one of them. Well, probably Lori Vallow case, to be honest, but Delphi was one of the ones that, it was just pure negligence, first of all, by the LE out there. But whatever, they can pat their own backs all day long, but they sucked. And they're only lucky that Richard Allen gave a confession, or else that the girls probably would have never have had justice. But anyway, but with this case, it's just like every time news comes out, your brain is like perma-fried. And you might as well just stick it in a frying pan and sizzle your brain because that,
Welcome to my world. That's how I spend most days.
Okay. Well, let me just read out the last of this here, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Oh my God! Actually, my brain hurts just even thinking about this. Actually, we are almost done. Because it says a recent Globe story described the children home life prior to the disappearance, including admissions of drug use by what Danielle. But that says a recent Globe story described the children's home life prior to the disappearance, including admissions of drug use. Well, I mean, right? I mean, he did say. So, controlling behavior, signs of potential abuse and neglect regarding the children, and the involvement of child protection, social and financial struggles. In their interviews, why police, both Daniel and Malaya, said that they do not resort. Now, the only thing that I will say is that, okay, because that was really the end of the article. Let me just bring it up. Is that in different articles, you can read things different ways, depending on, the publishing of it. Because when I was reading the first one, it was, in a sense, quite different a little bit than, like, I don't recall reading about no purple fabric in the one article. Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I don't think I remember it, but that being said, I did read it very quickly.
Well, right, because like this one says, like this other one says, meanwhile, on June 10th, the child's step-grandmother, Janie McKenzie, underwent a polygraph examination, but another document notes that her did they spell that wrong? Sociology? How do you say that? PHY.
Physiology.
Physiology was not suitable for analysis, and an opinion on the polygraph examination was not rendered. Imagine Janie, right? She can dig up a pool, Reiki, potholes, right? Can't do a polygraph, Janie? Because you're rendered. But anyways, okay. Okay, so do you guys just know that me, Kent, and Charmaine will be doing a live? I'm going to say, I think 5:00 our time, PST. I need a breather.
I'll be listening to while I'm in bed, don't you? I'll be there listening to you in bed in a bit.
So, let's see here. Okay, so what do you think? What do
I think?
So, based on some of this, and I know this is kind of like learning just before the live that there was this article, in a sense, because Bev didn't realize, you guys, that I had sent it to her about a half an hour or so, because Lindsay had told me that the article was coming out and other outlets were dropping theirs, but they were still editing theirs. But then I still had to hop in the shower and stuff like that. And then when I came out, I seen people sending it to me. And so I, like you, maybe had about an hour before the live to kind of go, hey, what's this? What's all this crap again? And it
seems to be a response. In my opinion, there are no coincidences in this world.
Right.
So the fact that Belinda contacted them to say that she's seeking guardianship,
and
then almost immediately afterwards, the police release a batch of documents to the press, when that's unusual in Canada if a case is ongoing, then it seems to be that it's in response. One is in response to the other.
Why?
And it does seem to just muddy the waters and completely confuse things.
Why?
I can't answer that question, other than to say potentially, and I do wonder whether this is a case where they know something, they're onto something, but they want to give the impression that they know nothing, in which case I don't want to kind of delve too deep into that idea because I don't want to ruin the plan.
Well, that's but the thing is, okay, so my initial takeaway from this is Daniel's going to walk around with a puffed up chest. Malaya.
See, I told you that I was truthful. I told you I was.
I know I told you I was truthful. And so my first impressions were, okay, fine. Daniel's going to sit there and be like, see, no, dude, you freaking, I don't know if it's some meth in you and shit like that. It's causing you to be this freaking grandiose, narcissistic bullshitter that can't keep a consistent story straight. Like too many drugs, Daniel, for too long. You know, Malaya's doing these odd things. I don't give a shit. If your kids are missing and you think that they're freaking somewhere to be seen, your ass would be there, like to the media. Like that doesn't make sense. None of this case makes sense. But this is going to kind of lead me to believe that, you know, they're really going to play up the whole that the children are missing and hidden shit. You know?
Yeah, they are, without a shadow of a doubt. And do you know what?
Huh?
My conclusion when I've been looking at what is the most likely outcome in this case, which obviously was before these articles came out, it's a slim possibility, but it is still a small possibility.
Yeah.
And I pray that that's true. And it is that slim possibility because it'd be a flipping miracle.
I know. But that's the, you know, you can't even bring it down to one narrative really, because, you know, that piece of the miracle that, you know, that all this bullshit, you know, like I'd be a monkey's uncle if all the bullshit that Daniel's been telling and, you know, Malaya did hide. But I'm looking at the timeline. It doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense on the timeline, but also it doesn't make sense because how the heck would you make all of those arrangements with, let's see, either your mother or your distant in-law relatives? I think Durwood also said that. Or your friends. So all three have been referenced as being the, you know, 1,000% ironclad. That's what I know. How do you make all those arrangements with people who you do not see on a daily basis without there being an actual trail on the phones and tablets that you've got, that people have now got the records for? It doesn't make sense. There would be a trail.
Well, not only that, so wouldn't you think that you'd get him a little suitcase all ready to ship him off?
Yeah.
Put some clothes in, you know?
It also doesn't make any sense why the hell she'd be sending those two off and not Meadow, because Meadow's the one you'd be angry about.
Right.
If you're going to take a person's child away from them, they'll be angry. If you're going to take a person's stepchildren, not even quite stepchildren, away that he doesn't really like anyway, then he's not going to be that angry, is he? Probably think, excellent. We can focus on me, you and Meadow.
Right. And to me, if it doesn't make sense, then it's nonsense.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not closing it down completely, but I don't think that that's what happened. It doesn't make any sense, and I don't think so let me say it in these terms. In the words of Chris McDonough, I haven't left the house yet.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
I haven't left the house yet. One of them knows what happened, and they didn't just walk away from that property. Because by now, 4 months later, there would be some breadcrumb trail that the police could have followed. Not like they've not been given a breadcrumb trail about this particular narrative, because Durwood has specifically been and told them everything that he thought. So they will have had to have looked into it because they've got no choice. And they've come away from that with nothing. So that leads you to back to the conclusion that something happened to them. Kids do not walk out of a house and just disappear into thin air with no footprints, in the rain, and no sign of them anywhere, even somewhere as rural as that. It would be some indication.
I mean, Janie said it herself, that this isn't a stranger abduction, and that the kids aren't in the woods.
The geography doesn't lend itself to a stranger abduction. It'd be too high risk. And it's not going to be a kind of an off the cuff, oh, I see 2 kids there, I'm going to grab them. First of all, you wouldn't usually grab 2 kids if you were doing stranger abduction.
Yeah.
Also, the only people that go down that road are logging truckers and locals. So it's highly unlikely to be somebody in that area, given the geography of it, that would spot the kids and decide to take them. Any locals would know that Janie's got a dog. The Mackenzies are well known around there, if we believe what we've been told.
Right. Mm-hmm.
So that in itself makes it high risk. Plus you've got the dog. Plus you've got the fact that it's a crunchy gravel driveway. That's quite a lengthy driveway. So how the heck do you get up there, grab the kids and get off the driveway without anybody hearing you and the dog starting barking? None of it makes sense. So I think they did leave through that door, and I think that they may not have been walking on their own 2 feet.
Okay, I was going to say, like, even based around their own words, right? Okay, so you got them, the day before, you got them on camera, 2:25, by their own words, fed Lily and Jack dinner, whatever, 5, 6, put them to bed at 9, then it says 10, so somewhere, let's say around there, Malaya tells Lana that she got up around 12, whatever, and that Daniel was doing meth, and he was up all night because he was tweaking, whatever. So
I think for me that says a lot. For her to say she got up at that time and he was doing things, what other than the substances that he was using was he doing? Why did he turn the children's light on? If you go into a kid's light, if you go into a kid's room to check them, you don't turn the light on because then you might wake them up. Why did you turn the light on? Is it because they were not sleeping? Is it because they were annoying you? All of those types of things that might lead to something happening to them.
I mean, again, like they're when you look at the whole timeline still, it doesn't make sense. Like I said, I mean, how many consistencies or inconsistencies can there be? About the first thing that you would think to do is you come out, yell for Jack and Lily, and then you're like start getting into panic mode because they're not hearing. You're looking around. You would think to go to your mom's camper and say, "Mom, whatever, have you seen Jack and Lily?" But Malaya says that Janie, whenever the kids have gotten outside in the morning, that she gets a phone call, but that morning she didn't. Now, Janie says, so according to this article, 8:50, she goes to bed. Then a little bit later, she hears the dog barking. She basically, goes back to sleep, she says, right? So we're talking about after 9 sometime, right? That
She
this
doesn't
is
say
occurring.
to the police that she heard them.
Say it again.
I don't think I don't think that article, I might be wrong. Did the article say that Janie told them that she'd heard the children?
Yes.
I think that bit was missed out, was it?
No, it was there.
Was it? Right. Okay.
Yeah. On there, And again, but the thing is that, like I said, Daniel's off on this whole thing about Malaya, Cindy. Like, he might not say Malaya, but he's saying Malaya. I don't know why he still said either they're sucking each other's asses for the purpose of like being liars, to be honest with you, or covering for each other.
Pointing the finger at her for 2 reasons, in my opinion. And they might also be linked to the same reasons that he did something, if it was him, to the children. So the first reason is she left him, or she was going to leave him. So now she's left him, so that's why he's turned on her. But before that, he knew she was thinking about leaving.
Yeah.
Because he had to hold her down and take her phone off her.
Yeah. More than once.
So that is the highest risk period for any family where there is domestic violence involved. And it's not always that violence will be aimed at the partner. It's often aimed at the children as a punishment to the partner. Because what's going to hurt a mum more than anything else? It's something happening to the children. Getting unalived yourself, well, then you're gone, aren't you? So that's not hurting you particularly, because you're not here anymore to feel the pain. Whereas if you do something to somebody's children, that is a huge, huge punishment.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that could be something that's played into it. Even if that wasn't a kind of a full-blown plan in his head, if he's been using substances and she's annoyed him, and there is some indication there was a row that night, then he could very easily jump to that in a matter of seconds.
Yeah. I was definitely watching a video on that stuff. Actually, it was let me see if I can find it quickly. Actually, it's not very long. Let me just look in my history here, because you guys, Bev's channel's in the link of this description of this video for her channel. I'm so sorry, Bev. I post it.
Go over and subscribe, because it's very new and all help is appreciated.
Absolutely. Hold on. Give me 1 second. Hold on a second. Let's see here. That's my bad. So yeah, so it's in the description of this live. But let me just drop the link. This is for Bev's channel here. Crime Courtroom Confidential. That one plays with my head, okay? CCC. It's kind of like Charmaine's always does. This freaking story pod or something. I always forget it too. I don't know why. Brain blockage. But I always have to think of yours in my head. I have to.
When I type yours in, it auto corrects to it's a crimping shame.
A crimping. A crimping shame. Let me just see here. Oh, right here. Okay. Let me just play this for a second. Share screen, and then we won't go too much longer here. I know it's getting late for you. Okay. I'll even put it on a little bit faster.
To actually see the people. Like, it's not just shadows anymore.
Okay, hold on.
Day 6, day 7, you start to actually see the people. Like, it's not just shadows anymore. There's actually like someone. It's always like out of the edge of your field of vision, like your peripheral. Like, you just know that there's someone sitting in the corner right now and they're staring at you, and you can't look over there because you're just gripped in fear.
Of course, it's about math life, right?
So typically what it would look like when I would use meth is I knew that the next 7 to 10 days are going to be used up because I'm going to stay awake the whole time. And at that point, you can't be around other people because they'll know instantly what's going on. So I knew when I was using meth, I knew that after day 3, I had to remember that everything I was thinking was insane. I couldn't believe my thoughts because my mind would tell me crazy things. And then after day, like maybe into day 4, I'd start hearing the soundtrack, so you could hear music in the back of your head that would just play over and over. Like if you walk down the street and you see like those people that look homeless and they're talking or singing to themselves, they actually like hear music and they hear people talking to them. So like when I was walking down the street and I'd be like singing a song, in my head the song was real, like it was actually playing. You could sit, I'd say day 4, day 5, you could start seeing the shadows. So you'd be sitting like in the bathroom and you'd see shadows walk back and forth on the other side of the door. So almost as if someone was walking down the hall and then walking back and then walking down the hall. And then you add into that like whispering voices, so you can hear people like talking out there and they're talking about you every single time. And it's just insane. I remember multiple times I would like leave shoes in the corner of my room, and when the lights were off, I'd like literally see people standing there staring at me, and it was terrifying. So much to the point where I remember the girl that I lived with, we were in severe psychosis together for a long time. And like what that looks like in a trailer when you're in psychosis is that you can't go in the bathroom when she's in there, and she's usually in there for 4 to 6 hours out of the day, usually 3 or 4 hours in the morning just doing eyebrows. And it's like it'd be easy to like smile or laugh at, but it's not funny. Like I'm talking like standing 6 inches from a mirror trying to pluck every last like hair and make it perfect, because in meth psychosis everything is super amplified. Like you want everything to be whatever way you think it needs to be, and that could take 6 or 8 hours. I used to sit for 8 hours and try to get myself a haircut, and I could never like reach the back. But I am serious, I would stand with like a mirror this close and like a razor blade that I made and try to cut my hair like to the perfect lines. I remember going in the bathroom one day and she believed that I was filming her, that I was recording what was going on in the bathroom. And so she had hung towels over the mirrors, over the vents, over the door, over the windows, over the shower curtain. Everything was like boarded up and closed off. And it was just insane. Meth for me was, every drug for me was the answer. It wasn't the problem. I was the issue. I didn't realize that. So when I would feel upset or worried or anxious or happy or glad or sad or any of those things, drugs made it better. I mean, every single time, they were the solution to my problem. I didn't have to feel. I mean, shoot, if life was really bad, meth gave me 10 days where I didn't have to think about it. And I would worry about it later on when I came back. I mean, if I'm not taking responsibility for my own actions, then I'm going to go as hard as I can for as long as possible until the floor falls out, and then I'll deal with it later. That's the way I live my life, was 120% right now, and I'll pick up the pieces down the road if I ever get there. I never believed I'd live long enough to have to pick up the pieces. I thought somebody else would just put the nails on the box and bury me underground. I mean, I was never concerned with tomorrow. It was always, how do I get more right now? Was there a step I struggled with more than the others? Step 1, for a long time, I was not powerless over drugs and alcohol. My life was not unmanageable. At least I believed that. I believed that if I could separate myself from drugs and alcohol for long enough, right? I'll do 28 days, I'll do 45 days, I'll do 60, 90, whatever. And then I'm going to go back to drinking the way I want. I'm going to go back to using the way that I want. You know, I'll do meth on the weekends and I'll like go to work Monday through Friday. I'd convince myself that I was in control, that life wasn't that bad. I had all those like yets. I would convince myself that I don't have felonies yet, right? I haven't slept with another guy yet. I haven't like done all those crazy things that I hear about in meetings. I still have all my teeth. So there's no way that I'm unmanageable. Like, I still have control. And that got me to some really, really, really dark places.
Yeah. So I don't know. I just happened to watch this the other day, and I just was like, I couldn't even tell you what psychosis feels like. But you know, like especially when I seen those words like grandeur, you know, like, because Daniel totally has this whole.
You see that part of it when he's doing the interviews, but what you don't see is the paranoia side of it.
Right.
And that is probably one of the most dangerous elements of any drug use. I can remember finding somebody who I unhelpfully dated hiding in a cupboard under the sink at his parents' house. And he'd messaged me to say, they're trying to get me. So I went to their house and I was looking for him, thinking, where in the Lord's name are you? And I'm shouting him and I heard nothing. And I'm like, and then I thought, I can hear a noise. And I opened it. Literally, this guy is like he's about 6'2". And he'd squashed himself under the sink to hide from they that were getting him.
Crazy.
And it took me hours and hours and hours to calm him down. And at that point, I was like, there is something really wrong with what is going on here. And I then found out about his drug use. I then found out about quite how bad his drug use had got. Because we were in college, as far as I knew, we like smoked a bit of weed and that was it.
Yeah.
Something that I'd never actually done and didn't want to. The smell makes me sick. So I was safe from that. And I've always had a real kind of distaste for the idea of the lack of control you get from taking anything. So, you know, for me, that was a good thing. But for him, that's all I thought he was doing. And it was only when that happened that I realised that he'd started using other things and that it had got really out of hand. And some of the things, from a professional perspective, I regularly get accused of stealing children. There's nothing wrong with me. My drug use is completely under control. I'm not an addict. I haven't got a problem. You're stealing my children. So I'm the they that people are scared of.
Right.
I'm specifically trying, like, I actually want that child for myself, apparently. And they can't, even when they're not in the midst of using, understand the ramifications of that use on the children.
Well, you know, like Malaya said that she found out that, according to her words, you know, when she was getting induced with Meadow, right? And it doesn't matter what she says. She has to be fully culpable of putting
she
these
kept her kids in that family, in that home, with somebody using that type of substance. We're not talking lightweight drugs.
Yeah.
Sorry, I said the word.
You know,
I've done so well all the way through, not saying it.
Now, I kind of get the feeling that Daniel's denying it, probably because of his whole court shit with Meadow, you know, and why he refuses to probably admit it, that he does do meth. And again, right? But I think that his ulterior motive for trying to portray, you know, regardless, is for the sake of the case of Meadow. Not going to be one, yeah, did drugs did meth all the time.
Now, I know that he talks about, I've got to do randomized
drug tests,
drug testing and so.
Yeah.
But once you're within the CPS system and there's an actual court case going ahead, they don't use like urine tests that are randomized. They do a hair strand test or nail clippings, and that shows up for like months and months and months. We do as a standard a 6-month period.
Right.
Often what men then do is they go, and shave the head. So then we pluck the armpits. You can use body hair as well as head hair. But that gives you a shorter period. But even so, with body hair, you get about 3 months. And they can tell all of the different substances as well.
Right. I mean,
break it down.
yeah, like I said, my niece is, like that's why I wanted her on that show, on the live, because she, is totally always on and off the wagon of addiction, of meth, fentanyl, all that different stuff. She keeps fighting, and she, goes into whatever again, relapses.
They don't do I think, Jess, you've just put, they don't do the hair clip anymore. They do. I'm currently involved in cases on a daily basis, prosecuting those cases. They do. They use nail clippings, they use hair. And you can break it down by substance and by element of that substance. So you can see, for example, what type of THC, what type of chemicals broken down from, I assume it's the same for meth as it is for some of the others. So we regularly get people who use crack and such, and you can tell not only the elements of it, but also have they used it with drink at the same time. We can also tell whether a person's units of alcohol per week go over and above a certain amount.
Just because they're saying in Canada they don't, but let me just type that for a sec.
I'd be surprised if they don't. If you're just within the CPS system and you're just dealing with a social worker, they tend to use just the urine tests. As soon as it gets into court proceedings, that's when they use the hair strand.
Let me just see this. It says, yes, Nova Scotians use both hair clipping and hair for haircuts and style. Wait. Okay, that has nothing to do with what I was asking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. Yeah. I thought I was going to be like, well, yeah, they do. And then I was like, wait, no, that's not what I was asking. I know.
Oh, okay. I can see an article here in 2016 that says they've suspended the use of hair strand drug and alcohol testing in child protection cases in at least 3 provinces. But that was in 2016, so I don't know what the position is now. That's the last.
I've been through it. They stopped using them years ago. On there. Okay. Now I'm gonna get ready to wrap this up here. It's 10 o'clock your time. I'm gonna do another live I'm gonna do it at 5. I have to do it at 5. I need time.
What's that my time, Sonny?
Oh, that's like in the morning. Like
okay.
6, 7, like 2 o'clock in the morning.
I might be asleep by then. I'll watch it tomorrow.
Set your alarm. No, just kidding. Well, I was going to say, of course, thanks to Belinda and thanks to Bev. Was there anything else you wanted to mention before? Anything at all that you were thinking of talking about on the live that you had gone through?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I was going to look at the various risk factors that we know are present in their family for children being harmed by their caregivers. So if we just look at that really, really quickly, and they literally hit the jackpot on every single one. So if you've got an unrelated adult in the home, that's a risk factor for harm to a child. We've got Daniel and Janie in the home. I know she's in a separate bit on the property, but regardless, I think it still counts as within the home. Financial stress. We know that they were in debt. They were potentially using somebody else's credit cards. We know that Daniel works in a place that is going to have kind of reduced hours during part of the year, and that their government pay had been stopped. We know that Earl was providing groceries and such like, and that the school were often providing things like winter clothing. Work stress, the idea of being dropped to 1 day a week, I think that'd fit into that category. Drug and alcohol misuse. We know that there is the potential, certainly, for at least one of the two to be using substances. Mental health difficulties. We've got Daniel saying that Malaya suffered from postpartum, and we can see from her YouTube historically that there's some depression in her background, so that's a possibility. And of course, if Daniel is using substances, the likelihood is he will have poor mental health in one form or another because of the effects of the substances on your psyche. We've just been looking at that. Past physical abuse. We've got 2 children. One who Daniel says regularly has black eyes, and one who Daniel describes as having a black eye the day before they went missing. Now, black eyes, I understand there is always people in the chat who say, oh, you know, kids will be kids, and I was always bruised from head to toe as a child. There are particular areas of the body that we look at when we look at whether there is a likelihood of inflicted injury. Black eyes, ears, inside of the arms, anywhere on the thigh. Palms of the hands, soles of the feet, because they're not usual places for a child to get injured just by accident, by way of playing rough. For any family to have several black eyes within a short period, that would be indicative of inflicted injury, as opposed to it being just kids playing rough and tumble. DV, we've got what Malaya says about Daniel being controlling, coercive, and you know, the things that she describes around him holding her down and taking her phone off her and pushing her into a wall, that type of thing. And then the biggest one for me is when a person is about to leave and the other person finds out about it. That's the biggest area of risk, all the way up until about 12 months after they've left, 12 months after the separation. So if he found out that Malaya was thinking about leaving again, then that puts them in immense risk, really. All 4 of them, in fact. So Meadow, the 2 kids, and Malaya. So I think, you know, they hit pretty much every one of those risk factors. And as I said earlier, I don't believe in coincidences. I believe in synchronicities. That's a whole different topic. But coincidences, children going missing, all of the risk factors being present for potential inflicted injury, those two don't necessarily gel with me. So on that basis, I've still not left the house.
Pardon?
On that basis, I've still not left that property.
Right.
In terms of what happened.
Yeah. This article really just adds more confusion again.
Yeah, without a doubt. Very much so. It doesn't tell us anything useful, apart from to demonstrate that actually what they've told the police isn't the same as what they've told the world openly, which means, again, more inconsistencies, which you wouldn't have if the children had specifically gone missing in a simple, innocent way like they are portraying.
Yeah.
You wouldn't have that much inconsistency, and you wouldn't be saying something different to the public that you said to the police. You'd be telling people exactly the same thing because it's the truth, and you don't deviate from the truth if that's what you're telling.
Well, especially
the same thing,
you know, and especially this whole thing with Daniel of again, like what Malaya said, I guess, like he's what they gave for a statement and what he's saying out here is two different things. You know, that they're hidden, you know, and that Malaya, he might as well just say Malaya, you know, stop sucking her ass, buddy. Seriously. Like I said, besides the protection thing of each other, because he always wants to make sure it's known that he's not blaming Malaya, right? That it's Cindy.
But you can't say that and then actually blame her.
I know. And then make it seem like she was the one standing there holding Meadow, as if, you know, but that Janie didn't see the car that in this 20-minute time frame and stuff like. No, okay, this doesn't make sense. These rocks that are before you guys, by the way, those are Belinda's rocks that she did for Jack and Lily. And there's a little butterfly up in the corner there. It's hard to see on the picture. Yeah, and little Jackie boy on there. So those, I just want to show you guys. So for the rocks, you guys have up until the end of August to complete rocks. Send them to me to my email at crimingshame@gmail.com. Jess, should I say on there at this point? You know, the thing is that we all have these little things that we do. I kind of go through little spurts of saying certain little things on there, you know, or at the end of the day, right? We all have these little things that we all do. If I got to know you better, Jess, I'd pinpoint yours. Right. So something that you're known for a word or something like that you're known for always saying?
Me?
Yeah.
I don't know. I like to make words up. So even though I'm really eloquent when I'm in work, I come out of work and I speak as though I'm talking to a 2-year-old. I can't help it. So I am like Janie. I do talk to my dog for a start. That's about as close as the similarities get. But I don't know. I like to make words up.
Go ahead, make one up. Make up
a word. Make
up a word for this case. Yeah. I got you on the spot. Now you can't think of one.
Yeah, no, I can't. I can't think of anything that would do this justice.
I know, right? Again, you know, this is enough to make me honestly not even want to cover the case anymore because my brain hurts so bad. It's like, oh my God, I woke up in the middle of the night and I just remember waking up and I remember just waking up literally vocally. And I was sitting there like fighting the covers going, they're all just a bunch of liars. And I literally woke up saying this. And I actually normally I know that I said this out loud because I remember going, wait, what? And then I could see that my husband stirred a little bit, right? Because I was just like, I literally was like, just all a bunch of liars. And I come out of my dream saying that, you know? So it's like,
it doesn't surprise me. I often get very kind of laser focused about these things and I'll focus on the adults in the case. And so when I'm talking, I hope that nobody who's watching thinks that I'm not thinking about Jack and Lily, because I do. As soon as I switch off speaking about it, then I start thinking about the kids and what they were going through in the house beforehand. not just
Right,
what
right.
happened now.
Buster
But
Club.
yeah, it's a lot, and I'm quite good. It is a fuster cluck, absolutely. That's a good one, Sarah. I like that. It's a fuster cluck. The whole case. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a tough one because there's no kind of even hint of a resolution. Like I watched the Emmanuel case earlier in the week and I was like, well, yeah, it's pretty obvious the police are going to
That
be
one, yeah.
on and done it pretty quick. They already had found CCTV footage of her
Right.
falling in the car park by herself with nobody around. This
You
one
know,
is just
right. I mean, and poor little Emmanuel and those children that had to live with those freaking ass monster. Well, both of them. It's just repulsive, honestly, and that's kind of like how I am too, right? Like I'm constantly thinking about the adults because my brain has to go into a block because when I think about that, these are two children,
yeah.
that are legitly just beautiful children living their life, even if it was, whatever they considered fun or not fun or abuse. I'm not sure all what was going on in there.
They might find fun and joy in the things to do around the house and all of those things. Doesn't take away from the fact that they were going to school with black eyes.
Ernestine's Cobequid. Yeah, that was a messed up word, Cobequid. What are you guys doing charging for tolls? I hear my husband come home, but it's like, yeah, I mean, like I want to retire my brain right now because every time, because at the end of the day, and self-admittedly, I do have other information, and so I'm just trying to equate this puzzle, and just when I think I've got it close to almost there somewhat, then this freaking like this article comes out, and I'm just like, like I said, Daniel, he's probably going to be smirking. Hi, or 1 second, go ahead for a second. Just say something.
Yeah, so I think Daniel will be singing and dancing about the fact that he's been demonstrated to be this truthful guy in his polygraph. There are many reasons why you may not fail a polygraph, including personality disorders, substance misuse, and such.
Thank you.
So I think he'll be singing and dancing, thinking that he's, demonstrated that he was right all along. But that's not what I take from it. I just take more inconsistencies from it.
Mm-hmm. They were truthful on 4 questions.
Yep. What those questions were is anybody's guess. Are you called Daniel? Are you 34?
What did you say?
Are you 34? Yes.
Yes.
Do you live on Gairloch Road? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Does your mother live on the property? Yes. There we go. Been truthful on 4 questions.
Yeah. True that.
The answer to the rest.
Right. Yeah. Like I said, possibility of them being hidden and taken, and there's too much. Again, when you tell a story and the truth is coming out, it's not a puzzle that you're trying to put together, of mistruths and inconsistencies and lies and manipulation, that stuff. That again, this whole little game of I'll use social media to try to sell people my story, my stuff, but I'm not going to join anyone's life. Again, he's just playing games. To me, that just tells me that he doesn't want to ask direct questions, like interviews. You know what? Thinks he can play their game, but to me, true crime people, nah, we'll be up your ass and one down the other side of it, right? For both Malaya and Daniel, because if you're telling the truth, then you have no worries at all, at all. You just, you know what? You fight for the children. You put yourself out there. You beg us for you to help you find the children. I mean, look at these pieces of shit called the parents, Haro and Rebecca here, right? I mean, they were sitting there doing little interviews, lying their little faces off. Come on, Malaya. Like I said, put your butt in front of the camera and sit there and ask people for help to find these children.
Job than Rebecca Harrow, though.
Yeah. Now, again, she wanted Malaya wanted, right? I want to reiterate this actually. So Cheryl Malaya, the beach friend, right?
Yeah.
So she wanted, like I said, to message me because they wanted to stop Darren because of all the bullshit he was putting out. And the whole bullshit he was putting out was the fact that Malaya or her family had done something to these children and hid them.
Yeah.
Right? Now, I can understand that. I can understand if Malaya knows that that's not true and Darren has, like, well, exactly what she said in her messages is that Daniel, you know, like we all gave a statement why they are, like why Janie and Daniel are telling something different, you know, and then she uses the word like about me, meaning this whole contrived thing of being hidden about me. She goes, I don't understand why that they're saying that when their statements are different, you know, type of thing. So so I'm just gonna go back to that whole, like, this much believes I guess I don't even know what to believe, but just to say someone has them out there alive. Yes, would everyone want that? Absolutely, of course. But again, Malaya wanted and Cheryl asked for, you know, me to do a live based on Darren's bullshit. Now, I had no problem doing that either because Darren started saying that Malaya was at the end of the drive and he was inconsistent and, you know.
Don't get me started.
I know.
I've been looking back at that over the last couple of days and my word, what a load of rubbish. Well,
again, you know, I would just advise everyone just to use common sense. Again, the articles are written in different ways on how they are. Maybe we got a tad bit more information out of it, you know, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to go to the timeline of their words. And if their words don't equate to someone taking these children.
And include the timeline from the articles that comes directly from the police documents. So we know what they've now told them in terms of timelines.
You know, right. So, well, exactly. So anyways, with that being said, my husband just came home. He brought me a submarine.
Nice.
Oh, I love subs. Yeah.
I can hear pots clattering downstairs, so I'm hoping my food's going to appear soon.
Well, you know what? So Bev, maybe perhaps next Friday, if you, I'm not sure if you do have time. If you do, maybe we can do this again, and then we'll see what's all going on again at that point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
See what's happened after the articles. What does it stir up?
Yeah. Does this same time work for you, or a little earlier?
Yeah, no, that's fine.
No? Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Okay. Well, then, with that being said, I'm going to head off because I'm going to be doing another live at 5 o'clock with Charmaine and Kent. And I always appreciate
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, no, I appreciate, you know, you, like I said, you got the credentials to back up what you're talking about. Me, I'm just talking out of my ass half the time, you know. I just like to, whenever I feel like there's like puzzle pieces to put together, I love building timelines, you know, based on to see kind of what time this could have happened at. You know what I mean? You just want to get a thing. And again, this should have been an easy timeline if the truth was being told.
Well, it should have been a very easy timeline, but it isn't. And literally, I've got an Excel spreadsheet covering everything that everybody said and when they said it. It's not finished yet.
Yeah.
and I will have missed some because Daniel spouts his mouth off so much. But
yeah, but
yeah,
anyway,
it makes it complicated.
I was gonna say, we'll catch up next week, see where we're at. Yeah, and so same time, same place.
Well, have a good evening. Bye, everybody in chat. Thank you for watching us, and I'll see you all next week.
Yes, and thank you so much again, Bev. Thank you for your time. I'm so much appreciated.
You're welcome.
Okay, take care.
Right.
Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, thank you. And so everyone else, like I said, so I'm going to be heading off here myself in just a second. And thank you to Belinda for joining us today again. Belinda is got a lawyer retained, Daleen, is that how you say it? Daleen Thomas, who is a frequent person in our chat, who's obviously also a lawyer. And she's doing it pro bono for Belinda. So again, thank you so much to Daleen Thomas, and thank you so much to all you guys and the fight for Jack and Lily, because she's, like I said, filing for the temporary custody of Jack and Lily, and we'll see what all transpires there. Absolutely, I really truly hope that well, again, no way in hope in hell to me that Malaya, Daniel are gonna get any of these children, to be honest with you. These children, they deserve to be in very loving, caring homes where they're truly cared about and not have to deal with people doing drugs, or not being able to have proper clothing and stuff like that. They deserve the best. Every child deserves the best. And again, prayers for Emmanuel, and glad that the parents have been arrested in that case as well. Those ones were just obvious liars. Like, they were just clear liars. So I'm so glad that there was an arrest for that, but sadly at the stake of what? Children. Anyways, you guys, thank you so much, you guys. I'm sorry if I didn't get to see chat as much as I wanted to today and stuff like that, but thank you. And hopefully we'll see most of you guys here back at 5 o'clock, where it's me, Charmaine, and Kent. Okay, guys? Oh, crispy. No, freaking just fried is for real, right? Seriously. I mean, honestly, it's like going back to the drawing books and going, but you know what? I don't think I need to really go too far back. Like, to be honest with you. Again, their words, use the articles, for timelines that they've said as well. And again, just look at it like, if it's possible that these children could have been taken during the timeline that they've said, or is it, again, the wording of how it came out about, answering 4 questions, because we all know that they got more than 4 questions. Okay. There was more than just 4 questions. So anyways, you guys, it is sure crispy Kentucky Fried Chicken. That's what it is. Okay, guys. Anyways, with that being said, again, those are Belinda's rocks. Have your rocks or artwork that you want in for Jack and Lily by the end of August, so that I could put it to Rachel McDonald's new song, Where is Jack and Lily, on there. And I just said on there, Jess. I happen to say it, and then I look down and you say it. I don't know why, it just comes out. Thank you again, Bev. Thank you so much. Okay, so let's see here. Video file. So I'm just going to do the small little video of what, of the new song as we leave.
In the woods where shadows lay,
The song too.
Jack and Lily went to play. On a rainy May afternoon, now we whisper hope soft too. Echoes of laughter fill the air, but where are they? We stand in prayer. Oh, Jack